It does little good to say you want something and then just in case, prepare to do without. That was a note that I got from the universe in my email box. So the absence of proof does not mean absence of progress. But are you quitting before you even get started? Stick around for today's episode while we unpack that idea.
The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to Rat Race Reboot. I'm your host, Laura Noel. And as a certified coach and former 27-year military leader, each week I provide bite-sized mindset pivots that will help you reset your mind, reawaken your spirit, and regain your control. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Self-sabotage. It's pretty interesting. I mean, we engage in it when we prevent ourselves from stepping into our fullest potential. And sometimes we can have one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake at the same time without even realizing it. And self-sabotage can fly under the radar because often people aren't even aware they're engaging in these practices and these behaviors. It's a way that we diffuse our energy as opposed to guiding it in the direction we want and really leveraging and utilizing the talents that we already have within us toward what we want. So the first way of overcoming self-sabotage is, one, to become aware of it. But there's one thing in particular that I want to focus on today. And how many of us have said things and pre-planned for things to go wrong, when we set on the path to go on an adventure toward a new goal? It's worst case scenario, I could do this. Worst case scenario, I could go in this direction. Worst case scenario, I'll have learned a lesson. I know I've used that phrase a lot. I've caught myself saying it. My husband, even one time, he's like, why are you saying worst case scenario? I'm like, I don't know, but I do know. So our mind is designed to keep us comfortable. And we say these things, we create these chicken exits and these worst case scenarios to protect ourselves in case we fail. It's like we're quitting before we even start. And even worse than that, there's a phrase or a word, catastrophizing. It's a cognitive distortion. And it's when the worst case scenario becomes the focal point of our energy and attention. So we start to think about all the terrible things that could go wrong. If I don't get this, or if this goal doesn't pan out, my life will be over. I'll be a laughing stock. My relationship will leave. I'll lose my house. We think about all of the horrible things that could potentially go wrong if this action doesn't manifest in the way that we want it. But really, by us focusing our energy and attention on all of the things that could be catastrophically wrong or that could happen, first and foremost is we're setting up the stage for more anxiety. We're going to be more anxious. And that anxiety, remember, the law of attraction, some people are confused and will think that the law of attraction from the movie The Secret is I focus my attention and energy on this thing that I want. And if I continually put my focus and energy there and wish for it and hope for it, I'll get it. That's not true. That's the law of attraction is a secondary law to the law of vibration, which states we live in an ocean of motion. Everything is made up of molecules vibrating at a high frequency. Everything is an energy. And so we, and our thoughts are energy. Think about when somebody is anxious and they walk into the room, you can feel it. You can feel that anxiety. They just feel prickly. Or if they're angry, you can feel it. They don't have to say a word or be dramatic about it. You feel that vibe off of them. That's their energy. And so when we have a goal or a vision of something we want to be, do, or have, and we say we really want it, and it's up here, but we're anxious and a hot mess, our energy is not aligned with our goal. And so by thinking about all of the things that could go wrong, we're never going to rise to the level of our goal, that energy, that vibration. So this is a reason why we want to shift it. So by thinking about all of the worst case scenarios all the time and making that your focal point, again, that's causing anxiety. It's releasing stress hormones in your body, your brain, right? And it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And we've talked about this many times, that filtration system in your brain. That's how this happens. So we start thinking about, well, this horrible thing's going to happen, and this horrible thing's going to happen, and this horrible thing's going to happen. And our brain is like, or the universe is, your wish is my command. Let me show you some more of that. You can't even see your way out of a situation like that. You can't see the solutions because you're only focusing on what could potentially happen that hasn't even happened yet. You're anticipating problems where they don't even exist. Why would you do that to yourself, right? And this essentially is a poor decision-making strategy, because what you're doing is you're ignoring what could go right. So shifting the question from what could potentially go wrong to what could go right, what could go well, that could be life-changing for you. But first, you've got to catch yourself when you're starting out in this self-destructive loop. So a few things that you can do to stop you if you are in that worst case scenario kind of catastrophizing situation. Get present. Become present. Don't ignore what you're thinking and feeling, but just be present with yourself and acknowledge that you're having these thoughts. Don't push them away. Like, oh, they're too painful. I don't want to think about them. I shouldn't be thinking this way. Don't guilt yourself. Just acknowledge that you're having these thoughts, and then shine the light of awareness on those thoughts. Okay, this feels real, but is it true? So you're starting then to tap into your mental faculties here. One of them is your reasoning faculty. And if you didn't listen to last week's episode about being resilient, we really talked more in depth about how to use your mental faculties. But this is a way for you to exercise that reasoning faculty. Okay, I'm shining the light of awareness on this feeling and this thought that I'm having. And I'm asking myself, okay, it feels real right now because I'm getting wound up. I'm feeling anxious, but is it true? Has it happened? And here's where you have a window of opportunity to say, okay, what would I rather believe? Instead of thinking about the worst case scenario, I could just as easily shift to, what would I rather believe and what's the best case scenario? Another thing is, I always say, live life as if. So you're living your goal and your vision right now as if you've already manifested it, right? So live life as if, instead of living life as what if. What if this horrible thing happened? So even, I think it would be really helpful if you got out a sheet of paper to get this outside of yourself and really make this an exercise. So take the left-hand side of the paper and write what if, and write all the what ifs that come to mind, so you can get them out of you and outside of you and separate them from you, the person, because they are not you. Get it out. And then on the other side, write as if. So write down all of the catastrophic things that you could think of that would happen. And then write down, okay, if I didn't want to believe this, and instead I manifested this vision and this goal and this dream, how would I be living? What kind of empowered thoughts would I have instead? And that's how you start to live as if. And then you start to strengthen the belief in yourself. Okay. So here's where the power of affirmations can serve you. Once you have that vision of what it is you truly desire, and then you have that live as if list going, write an affirmation that strengthens that live as if list. Tear that sheet of paper in half, crumble the living what if list, shred it, burn it, get rid of it. You don't need it. And then post that live as if list in places where you can see it. And then build that affirmation and get emotionally involved in it. Start to strengthen that belief in yourself using your mental faculties and the power of affirmation to do that. This is one way of redirecting your energy in a way where it's not diffused. You're using your mental resources, your energy, your focus toward what you want and the vision that you want to create, the life that you want to create, your peace of mind, your level of fulfillment, relationship, success, whatever that looks like for you, as opposed to focusing it in the what ifs, the things that haven't even happened yet, the things that you don't even want to happen, right? You're acknowledging them by writing them down, but then you're shredding them and you don't need that. Okay. So what I want you to do is practice this, practice using your mental faculties. Go back to last week's episode and make note and use this as a resource. Also, go to ratracereboot.com and subscribe, because there is a 3-minute guided meditation. There's actually 3 of them that I'm going to give to you so that you can get yourself in a headspace that is in alignment with your goal and your vision. It's to help you take inspired action and really align you with more empowering thoughts toward your greater purpose and your greater vision. Okay. I want to thank you once again for listening to us on Rat Race Reboot. If you have any comments, I would love to hear them. Please leave us a 5-star review. Just go to ratracereboot.com and do that wherever you listen to your podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, get your free meditations. And if you want some support working through this, you don't have to do it alone. There are a couple of resources there in the show notes. One is for you to book a call with me so we can talk about your goals, what you truly want to create for yourself, and how we can get you there. And then there's also a resource for you if you want to have funding toward coaching, because I don't think anybody should have finances as a barrier toward getting the support and the coaching they need to really skyrocket their dreams and their results. So don't forget to go there in the show notes. Again, remember, everything is created twice. Everything. First in your imagination and then in physical form. We'll see you next week.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.